So I'm going to talk about 7-bit ASCII. So ASCII is one of the most famous types of character set, and it uses 7 bits of data. So like the example we've seen before, all of these in here, look, use 8 bits, but they're actually only really using 7, and they're just filling in the 8th bit with a 0. So if you notice, the most significant bit on each of these numbers is all a 0. So if you ignore that 0, you can see that the ASCII character set actually is using 7 bits and making changes to 7 bits of data. Okay, so it was widely popular in 1981 and has been used ever since. However, it's every year that goes by, its popularity as a character set on its own drops off. And the reason being is because if you look at the letters and numbers and symbols there, it's quite limiting. They are the basics and the basics only. So you'll notice that the 8th bit's already 0, which I've talked about. Could you think about how many, if we've got 7 bits of data, how many characters we can represent? So if you think of binary, what is the maximum range of characters maximum range of numbers you can represent with 7 bits of data? Well, the answer, if I add 1 bit of data, and it's 2, because it's a base 2 number system, 2 to the power of 1, which means I've got 2 combinations. And then obviously it could be a 0 or a 1. They're the only 2 things you can have, 0 or a 1, if you've only got 1 bit. As these bits increase, so do the power of 2s. So you can see there, if we've got 2 bits, we've got 4 combinations, 3 bits, 8 combinations, 4 bits, 16 combinations, etc., etc. You see 7 bits here, we've got 128 combinations. So ASCII has 128 characters in. That's a really important fact. So the things you want to know about ASCII is it uses 7 bits, it's got 128 characters, and then if you can remember the types of characters they are, you've got uppercase and lowercase English letters, symbols, and some basic sort of symbols, punctuation, and numbers. Okay, the reason it's becoming less popular, hopefully, is relatively obvious, just because of the lack of other things it does. So it doesn't do other languages, it doesn't do even things like emojis or anything like that. Okay, so on your computer, when you type in the letter A, your computer actually sees a binary representation of A depending on what character set you're using.